Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. My name is Denise Hutchins and I'm broadcasting to you from Studio Mikarts. Our charity of the month, which is February now, we're into February, unbelievable, is Vegan Outreach. You can help me, help them, help the animals in multiple ways. First, I haven't started the fundraiser. Well, I will start that after I finish this introduction. Once I've done that, you can donate to a fundraiser here on Twitch. I'll set the goal at $10 more than whatever last year we raised. Or if you can't donate, just watch my streams this month and bring your friends because I'll be making my own donation based on my unique viewers count here on Twitch. You can also find more information about Vegan Outreach in the chat right now in my Twitch description. Also, once this is uploaded to YouTube, there will be a link in the description there. So it is Wednesday, which means it's time for some illustration work, and it being a new month means I want to create a new illustration to send to my patrons. The piece I was working on last week is nowhere near finished, so I don't want to rely on that one to be this month's reward, so let's get something done in my Maginaturalist Sketchbook series. This series is a black ink on white paper illustration of entries from this book, The Element Encyclopedia of Magical Creatures. I'm going through the letters A through Z. Last time we did F, so we're going to move on to G. Wow, we're really moving along in this project. So we're going to see what the first letter of G is in this encyclopedia, and then we're going to illustrate it from the point of view of a Maginaturalist, a magical naturalist, traveling the world and documenting in ink the magical creatures she sees. But before I get started on that, I thought I was on top of everything. I did so many things to get ready for today's stream. Oh, there goes the dryer jingle. Let's see. I gotta go to channel. I did so much to get my stream ready today. I was on top of it. I had a little extra time to do extra work with I forgot about changing my charity fundraiser. So, let's see. Where is Vegan Outreach? There we are. So last time we ran this fundraiser, it was, looks like some of the months through the year, some have a dedicated charity because it makes sense to go with that month. Like last month, January was Veganuary because Veganuary is a challenge that happens in January. It makes sense. Vegan Outreach doesn't really have a month that it fits with, so it looks like the first time I ever ran this charity fundraiser was in August 2 years ago. But I also have an end date of March last year. So we're getting to Vegan Outreach even earlier than before. See, I'm trying to, it's not letting me scroll all the way down. Let me refresh this page. Ah, there we go. Ah, yes. So I'll just click resume. Start fundraiser. Hooray, there it goes. Woo! Oh, it even has a little icon on there. I never noticed that. It's showing up right here. Wow, that's fun. Maybe I should wait to start my fundraisers until on stream. I don't like taking the time away from illustration though. Anyway, let me get back to my stream manager view. Yeah, sweet. All right, charity goal. So $10 US is our very humble, modest goal. If you can donate, please do. But again, if you can't, you can still help by bringing your friends to get that unique viewers count up. I believe the unique viewers has to be during the live stream. It doesn't count for a rewatch, I don't think. Okay, so let's first see what we've got here under G. Here's D, E. Oh, we skipped G. Here's G. Here we go. Okay, we're at G because F and G. So let's see. I'll do what I usually do, which is simply read the entry. Oh, this one's very short. So we'll see what we can do with it. I've been trying not to do too much research outside of what's in the encyclopedia. For one, so that it doesn't take that long to create this illustration. And for two, to not be too influenced by what other people have done and try to make something a little bit more unique just based on my existing knowledge and the things floating around in my brain. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pronounce this, though, correctly. But let's see. I'll do my best. Gaasyendietha. Maybe. I'll look up the pronunciation later. A type of fire-breathing dragon. Oh, fun, we're going to do another dragon. Dragon from the mythology of the Seneca people of the northwestern coast of North America. The appearance of a meteor in the sky is said to represent the passing overhead of this creature, which is of enormous size. However, despite its fiery qualities, the Gaasyendietha lives in rivers and lakes. So that's fascinating because that's very similar to Asian dragons that represent water. They also represent the sea, lakes, rivers, rain. So that's very interesting that it's similar. Let me see if I can look up how to pronounce this because it matters to me to at least try so I can say it correctly. I'm going to be saying this name over and over during the time making this. So let's see how to pronounce Gaasye. And I have found that this encyclopedia uses interesting spellings that aren't very common, so we might find a different spelling too in this research. Dietha. Okay. How to pronounce God. Oh, I had a typo in there myself. So how to pronounce Gaasyendietha. Let's see. This is from just howtopronounce.com. We'll see what it says. I'll have to turn my volume up. On my phone, I try to keep it turned down so that it doesn't have random alerts or something. Okay, we'll try this one. It has 45 votes and 4 out of 5 stars for it. Oh, hold on. It's too quiet. This isn't working. Gaasyendietha. Here's an actual person, I think, saying it instead of a robot. Gaasyendietha. Gotta turn it way up to hear this. I don't know if you're even hearing it.
Gaasyendietha.
Gaasyendietha. Here's another one.
Gaasyendietha.
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 That's definitely an actual person saying it, so that's good.
Gaasyendietha.
Gaasyendietha. So it's slightly different between all these different pronunciations, but in general it seems to match how it's written here, so that's helpful to me. Let's see if there's any other ones. There's even more results on how to pronounce it in Turkish. How about how to pronounce it in the original language? That would be the best. Pronounce kiwi. Here's a different pronunciation site. Well, 53 of... let me turn it down. I bet this one could be different for how loud it is. This is English USA, 53 votes. Oh, turn it up. What? I feel like it's not saying the whole word. Gaasyendietha. Here's Wikipedia. Oh, it doesn't have the pronunciation. Sometimes it has that little pronunciation key here. It doesn't have it. Curses. Gaasyendietha. Dietha. Some people said Ditha, some people said Dietha. This blog calls Gaasyendietha Canada's Nessie, as in the Loch Ness Monster. I'm going to see if I just search videos. Oh, and I could put in Seneca. I don't know if that's the name of the language. Maybe I'll search Seneca language to start. It's interesting because this says northwestern coast of North America, but this says that the Seneca language is spoken by the people of New York and Ontario, which is the opposite. That's the east. But maybe it's spoken all across? About Wikipedia again. Yeah, the heck? This isn't the west. Never eat soggy waffles. Alright, so this is not reliable. Hello, Sarah. How are you? Thank you for joining me. I hope you weren't sitting there too long. I'm trying to figure this out, and then I'm realizing that some of this information has to be wrong. How are you? I'm so glad you could join me again this week. Hooray! Hope you're doing well. You were feeling kind of sick last week, right? I hope you're feeling better. In case it's not obvious, I am working on a new Maginaturalist sketchbook piece, and we are on the letter G. And I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce the name of this creature, which is another dragon. There's not any consensus for how to pronounce it. So I'm just trying to now see, is there a way to look up a pronunciation key for the Seneca language that this says this creature comes from? Well, the Seneca people. Ah, that sucks. Maybe a little yoga or something might help. But that sucks, I understand. It sucks when that happens. Is it normal kind, or is it, like, unique to your current situation kind? Oh, yeah, is it the new normal? The new normal for the next X months. I feel like that might be the case, but... Well, I hope that you feel better soon. That's so uncomfortable. Phonology. Seneca words are written with 13 letters, 3 of which can be umulated. Look, Wikipedia has a whole thing that's basically what I'm looking for. Phonology. Seneca words are written with 13 letters, 3 of which can be umulated, or umulated, because I think umlaut, plus the letter colon, and the acute accent mark. Seneca language is generally written all lowercase, and capital letters are only used rarely, even then only for the first letter of a word. All caps is never used, even on road signs. The vowels and consonants are A with an umlaut, E with an umlaut, I, O with an umlaut, H, J, K, N, S, T, W, Y, and a apostrophe. In some transliterations, T is replaced by D, and likewise K by G. Oh, and we have a G here. Seneca does not have a phonemic differentiation between voiced and voiceless consonants. The letter J can also be replaced by the 3-letter... Is this the same thing? Oh, this is not the same thing. The 3-letter combination TSY. For example, a creek in the town of Cold Spring, New York, and the community near it bears a name that can be transliterated as either Joe Negano or Joe Necano. As per Wallace Chaffe's 2015 Grammar of Seneca, the consonantal and non-vocalic inventory of Seneca is as follows. Note that orthographic representations of these sounds are given in the angled brackets, where different from the IPA transcription. I'm not good at IPA, so this isn't as helpful for me. I wish there was a way to just plug this in. I guess I could see. I doubt that it's available, but for really common languages, Google Translate actually has a bot pronunciation that you could use. So I'll look through here and see if Seneca's on the list. No. Blast. It's not. Oh well, I tried. Maybe I'll look this up, this creature, on Google and see what they say. Gaasyendietha. It's starting to feel like I should just use my Japanese knowledge and do my best. Oops, I put a T instead of a Y again. It's because they're next to each other on my keyboard. 5 more months for Sarah. Hang in there. Hopefully the bloat doesn't last that long. K swap for G. They don't make similar sounds. It probably means that in that language that K and G is actually a very similar sound and that there's not a letter in English in the Roman alphabet to represent it. Because that's what happens with Japanese. What's often written as R or sometimes written as L in the Roman alphabet actually sounds more like an R, an L, and a D all mixed up together, a unique sound. But there's no Roman letter for that, and so you just gotta pick one. So that's probably what's going on. I don't want to open myself to criticism. I'm gonna be honest. That is a good idea, though. Put a short on YouTube and have someone correct my pronunciation. Oh, the bloat will only get worse as tater tot gets bigger. Well, at least it's not forever. That's a good thing. It's not forever. It's not even a year. So, it's going to be really uncomfortable for a while, but it won't be forever. It won't even be the rest of this year. Well, there's no pronunciation. Well, on that first pronunciation site that I looked at, The pronunciation was very similar to what I guessed. So, as to not spend any more time on that, spend about 15 minutes, it seems like, trying to figure out how to pronounce this. I think I've done my due diligence, and some of the pronunciations were similar to what I instinctually did, so I will just continue to do my best with the knowledge that I have. Early July, summer baby. Almost, that's close to Harry Potter and Neville Longbottom. They're the end of July, though. Let's see. Next thing I'm going to do... my little griffin buddy is trying to fall down. I have this tiny griffin plushie. I have a big one, too. Sean got me these. My husband. Shump. He's in the chat as Shump. He got me these. This little one was trying to fall down. The little one hadn't had trouble. For some reason, they fall down all the time now. Oh, I know. I'll use this little globe. I have this ancient globe. Where is it? It's a pencil sharpener, actually. I've had this forever, since I was a kid. I think it was my dad's. Maybe my mom's. It's cool. It's like an actual mini globe. I'm going to set this in front of my baby griffin, and then hopefully they won't fall down anymore. Okay. So what I'm going to do is start pulling information from that little tiny blurb. That's all I'm going to use. Is that I did find this Wikipedia page, but for these pieces I'm trying not to go down the rabbit hole and just stay as simple as possible. Just do my own imagined version, trying not to be influenced by other people's interpretations. It's so interesting. These are my sketches for the last Maginaturalist sketchbook piece, and it was a dragon as well, so we're doing another dragon. Oh, and by the way, yesterday I ordered another sketchbook of my favorite sketchbook, since I realized that for some pieces I really need to be able to rip the pages out and I need that perforation. This one doesn't have that, but I'll keep using it for today because that new sketchbook isn't here yet. Wah! I didn't realize that was open. I opened it myself, but I forgot. Okay, got my nice writing pen with 3 colors of ink in it. Roger that. About the F. Dragons are cool though. Yep. I don't draw them as much because I decided a long time ago that I like griffins better. I love dragons. I read so many dragon books. One of my favorite books of all time is called Dealing with Dragons. It's right there on my bookshelf. I have it. It's so good. But I focus on griffins a lot more, so I don't get to draw dragons as much. So I'm happy about it. I'm happy about 2 dragons in a row. So let me write what this is for. Maginaturalist. And sorry about the camera shaking as I write. The desk is so wobbly. It doesn't really bother me that much as far as my creation, but it does bother me seeing the camera go whenever I write. Okay, sketchbook. And Gaasyendietha. Gaasyendietha. And I love writing the date. So one day, when I randomly look back through my old sketchbooks, which I occasionally do, I'll have the pleasure of knowing when this set of sketches took place. If that doesn't make sense, that's okay. It's kind of a unique feeling. I don't have this. I guess it's similar to when you look through old photographs that you haven't looked at in years. And if those photographs don't have a date attached to them, you have this sort of mystery, and it's not necessarily pleasant to be like, I don't remember when that was or how long ago that was. So having the date in here just makes it fun. Like, it's like opening a time capsule, turning your sketchbook into a time capsule. Okay, so we've got fire breathing. That's an extremely powerful visual, so we definitely want to write that down. Fire breathing. So even within this tiny little paragraph, oh, here, I'll turn this little camera so that at least you can see it on the tertiary camera. So even in this tiny paragraph here, there's already a really strong visual. The fact that it's a dragon, that's another visual. And we'll put Seneca. It says it's from the Seneca people. I think this must just be a typo. It says northwestern coast of North America. It's definitely the northeastern coast, because the northwestern coast is very close to me. And the northeastern coast is where the Seneca people live. We looked that up independently. So I'm going to put northeastern USA. Well, actually, it's not USA. It goes into Canada as well. So North America, I'll put NA because I'm trying to keep it short. So northeast. It was in Canada, across Canada and USA. North America. So that's close enough. Here's another strong visual. Meteor in the sky. This line says, the appearance of a meteor in the sky is said to represent the passing overhead of this creature, which is of enormous size. So, meteor, in sky. Another visual we can work with. And then enormous size, that's not a visual, but that's a key element. It's a strong direction for us. Enormous size. And then the final line says, however, despite its fiery qualities, the Gaasyendietha lives in rivers and lakes. Oops, can't spell. Just leaving out letters left and right. I feel like it makes sense that a fire... So, in typical fantasy fashion, it doesn't make sense for a fire creature to live in water. But to me, it does make sense because it could help them protect themselves from their own fire. It could help them not destroy anything they don't want to, and not overheat, and all these other things. So I feel like it's actually makes perfect sense. Maybe it comes from a long time ago. I was looking up my Eastern zodiac, and I am a fire tiger. So it actually recommended to balance myself with water elements because those are the elemental opposites. So maybe that's why I'm thinking of that, because I already have that idea in my head from the zodiac. Yeah, that's a really strong water landing impact for the meteor. Let's put down here under the synthesized ideas. It's a great one. Meteor impacting on lake. Thank you. That's a huge. You could just see like, oh, I just had a great idea. We want to make this kind of fun. What if the dragon is doing like a cannonball? Because meteors are generally round, or we imagine them to be round, probably because soaring through our atmosphere, it just takes pieces off. And that's why we have the shooting star with the tail, because the pieces are coming off and flaming from the friction of moving through the atmosphere, and then that's why they end up round by the time they hit the ground. So what if we have our dragon is doing like a massive cannonball into the lake? I'm gonna write on all caps. How do you spell cannonball? Is it with one or two? Okay, Google. How do you spell cannonball?
Cannonball is spelled C-A-N-N-O-N-B-A-L-L.
That's all. Thank you. I thought that it was different from canon as in a collected, like collected works or something, has two N's. So like a collected works is one N in the middle. Cannon, as in a thing that fires stuff. I'm not describing these things very well. As in the pirate weapon, it has two N's in the middle. I think that would be so funny and different. I think that would be a really great illustration. We could find a lake. I was already looking up where do the Seneca people live? Or historically. I mean, I'm sure they live in lots of different places, but I was trying to find the origin. And so we have, oh yeah, Lake Ontario. So I remember specifically seeing that this dragon is, someone's called it Lake Ontario's Nessie or something like that. So that's perfect. We can find a picture of Lake Ontario as a reference for the scene. And then we can show the dragon at the point of impact. I love this. I don't even feel like doing a bunch of different ideas. Like, I think I'll do some different, we can do sort of this type of sketching to figure out the placement, but I don't feel like we need, because I love this idea so much, Sarah, that you gave me. It's awesome. I don't feel like we need these kind of sketches where we're trying all kinds of different scenes and poses and stuff. I feel like that puts everything together, and we could even have the dragon being wreathed in flame. And the question could be left up to the viewer to decide, is that flame from the dragon itself, or is that just flame from shooting across the sky? And then, like, that sounds like such a fun game. If you were a fire-breathing being, and then you could fly across the sky and get really hot, and then you jump into the cold lake and you're instantly cooled off, and you feel all the bubbles because the water around you boils all of a sudden, but it quickly cools off because it's a lake, so it's huge. I love this story. This is awesome. This is awesome. So we're going to put Lake Ontario. Yay! The Seneca language is, this is just interesting to me, is classified as severely endangered according to the UNESCO Atlas of the World's Languages in Danger. And I could see how it could be endangered when it's takes up such a small space here. Oh, it doesn't want to focus for you, but it's just this little teeny tiny area right there. It's not even as big as the lake. Okay. So we now know Lake Ontario. So we've got our scene. Dragon. What I did for the previous dragon last month was find a reptile that lives in the area where that myth or magical story originates from. So let's look for some reptiles that live in, let's see, it looks like, so Lake Ontario, that's New York State. It's the Seneca, as far as the language goes, is pretty much encased in New York State. So I'm going to search for native reptiles of New York State. Okay. The AI overview says it has many native reptiles, including turtles, lizards, snakes, and salamanders. Salamander would be good, because I feel like salamanders tend to be water. Lizards of New York State. Adirondack amphibians and reptiles. I'm pretty sure I went to the Adirondack, what is it, state forest or something? Reptiles and amphibians of New York. I'll just click on this one. Aw, that's cute. The New York State reptile is the snapping turtle. And the New York State amphibian is the wood frog. That's cute. Didn't know that. Okay, salamander and newts of New York. Oh, this place is awesome. This place is called herpedia.com. And they have not just a list of names, as so many other people do when they organize such lists. They have pictures. So I could just look at them. Ooh, the eastern long-tailed salamander looks really dragon-like. Oh, it's so cool, this long tail. It's really, really cool. And if we drew that as a meteor shape, we could still have the long tail sort of, and that could represent, you know, when there's a falling star, there's a tail. So the eastern long-tailed salamander could be representing that and explaining that. And click on it. Your autocorrect is always so crazy. But you know what? Friends are water dependent, I think, unless, like, I don't know any living being who's not water dependent to some degree. So it's not wrong. Yeah, I feel like they hit that sweet spot that we're looking for a fire dragon that lives in water. And then look at this. Look at the coloring on this beautiful person. How dragony. All red, those golden eyes, amazing. I don't know if this will focus this close. Come on, camera, show the amazing golden eyes. Oh, it doesn't want to, but I think there's a different one with different lighting. Oh, so beautiful. Look at this. Yeah. Now, I wonder, the encyclopedia says fire-breathing dragon. Appearance of a meteor represents the passing overhead of the creature, which is of enormous size. Nowhere does it mention that it has wings. And the last dragon we did was specifically without wings, at least in the earlier in human history tellings of the tale. Earlier Nordic and Germanic dragons didn't have wings. It was later that the idea of wings came in. Dragons started having wings in stories. So I wonder if we could do the same thing here. Not necessarily adding any wings, just having this kind of like an Asian dragon. Asian dragons don't have wings either. So we could do the same thing with this one. Just use this beautiful eastern long-tailed salamander. Oh, here's another picture. They're so pretty. They're so pretty. Wow. I've never learned about such a gorgeous reptile. Oh, this one's kind of yellow. Looks like a little trail of molten gold. It's just perfect for a fire-breathing dragon. Oh, it doesn't want to focus. There we go. Focused. Look at that. Just looks like a little trail of gold melting and flowing down the path. Excellent. Yes. Let's use this. Okay, so I'm going to write this down. Eastern long-tailed salamander. Sweet. Let's read their description. Long-tailed salamanders are typically yellow, but body color may range from yellow to red. And that doesn't matter too much to us for this illustration because it's going to be black and white. Adults are between 100 and 200 millimeters long, with the tail oh, that's so small. What's 100 to 200 millimeters long? Hold on, I want to get a ruler. 100 millimeters. Millimeters. So there's 10 millimeters in a centimeter. Are they reptiles or amphibians? I guess I'll see if it says, and if not, I'll ask. So, okay, Google. Is 10 centimeters the same as 100 millimeters?
On the website homework.study.com, they say there are 100 millimeters and 10 centimeters.
Okay, good. Had my conversion correct. So they're only about this long.
1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters.
This is
This means that in 10
two.
centimeters,
Google's still going.
10 equals 100 millimeters.
Thank you. It's still going. God, it couldn't just answer my question. Anyway, so it's like a little bit longer than my hand. So this is how long my hand. And 100 is only half this. So they're from this big to this big. So not very big. Yeah, she really wanted to tell me about centimeters. It's like, dang, dude, I just wanted to know if my conversion was correct. Centimeters and millimeters are really straightforward, so I was pretty sure, but I wanted to verify. It says the tail is about 60% of total body length. I wonder if there's anything at the top that talks about your question about whether it's a... It doesn't say. Okay, we'll see if it says... Key characteristic is a row of irregularly shaped dark stripes found on the long, slender tail. Adult bodies have dark dashes or dots and may contain a broad dorsal band. The belly is colored light yellow to cream. Long-tailed salamander larvae are aquatic and have features missing in terrestrial adults, including branching gills, slim bodies, and a tail fin that does not extend to the body. So it's like a little shark, I guess. Larvae also differ from adults in that they have cream-colored dorsal pattern. Habitat: long-tailed salamanders inhabit streams, limestone seep springs. Okay, I don't need to read all of this, though. Range. That's how we found it, so we don't need to read that. Diet. We don't need that. Oh, here it is. Is it amphibian? It has taxonomy here. The kingdom is Animalia, makes sense. Phylum Chordata. Subphylum Vertebrata, which is vertebrates. Class Amphibia, which is amphibians. And salamanders, their order is called Caudata. Caudata. Oh, so this is so interesting. It's under family Plethodontiae, which means lungless salamanders, so they don't have any lungs. Genus Eurysea longicauda and species Eurysea longicauda. So the genus and species is the same. And then the subspecies is E. longicauda longicauda. So it's the extremely longicauda of the longicaudas. So it's actually an amphibian. That's okay with me, though, because we're making it into a dragon, and dragon isn't even real, so I think it's fine. How do they breathe? Good question. Does it say? Let's ask. How do lungless salamanders breathe? Oh. The AI overview says they breathe through their skin and the mucous membranes in their mouths and throats. This process is called cutaneous respiration. Oh, interesting. I love doing this kind of thing. This is so fun. I'm always learning. I'm not just illustrating, I'm always learning thanks to this. I would never have seen this. I'd never have seen this. Look at this adorable little nature's real dragon. I would love to see one of these in real life. Just chilling on a rock on the banks of Lake Ontario. That would be epic. Okay. I think we've got everything. Let's do a few sketches of the without lungs can't breathe fire. That's true. So they could have some other completely different mechanism. And it looks like breathing fire, but actually what they're doing is catching the oxygen on fire by dispersing some sort of other material from their mouth. So it doesn't have to be breathed, even though it says fire breathing, but that could just be a general description, like it's looks like it's breathing, but actually it's spraying some mist that goes when it catches with oxygen, Pretty sure we have something like that we've figured out. And by we, I mean humans. Okay, I'm trying to look for... Oh, right. I put all my sketchy stuff in this one because my sketch kit keeps growing and growing. So I've got my markers for doing contrast experimentation, and then I've got these gray pens for doing the sketches. And I love the gray pens. I bought this last year and then forgot about it, but I bought this last year because the gray pen give me that lighter look on white paper like graphite, but it's ink, so it doesn't get all over my hand and get all over the page and get all over my desk and get smudged too. Yeah. Hey, and it makes sense. The mucus, because it says that's how it breathes, so it's just using its own way of breathing, not a lung-based system. It's using the mucus-based system, and so it would still count as fire breathing. Yay, we're figuring out the science of our dragon. This is awesome. This is so fun to do. Okay, first I'm just going to sketch the salamander as it is. Not trying to make it into a dragon. We need to remember this, that it says enormous in size. These little fellows are only like this big. So we're going to make them huge. Huge for this epic cannonball into Lake Ontario. Ah, yeah! Good idea! Yes! This is epic! I'm so glad that this is recorded. That the stream is recorded. So all these great ideas are now here. So we can look at them. Because maybe all this information isn't necessarily going to be obvious in the final piece. But it's now part of this character. So it lights up because its whole breathing system becomes fire. Which means it could produce fire from other places than just its mouth. So with lung-based fire breathing, it's limited. It only has one place to come out from. But with a mucus-based one, anywhere those mucus glands are, it could get fire in the hand or get a fiery tail and whip it around or something. Woo! This is exciting. Let's add some back legs. I'm going to zoom in on here. Ah, this is interesting. So, whoops, keeps flipping over to the next image. I don't want you to do that. No, just stay here. Okay. Look at how that back foot is turned in like that. This probably won't matter because we're going to do a cannonball. But it's good to know and internalize this now so that when we come up with this made up imaginary pose, we have something real to base it off of. And then the other leg is like way the heck out there. Really long and stretched out. It has 5 fingers, just like a little hand, like a human hand. The little shorter thumb-like one and this little finger-like one, little pinky finger here. This is so cute. Front hands seem to only have 3 though, like this. At least in this picture, I can't see the far side hand. I can see only 1 finger coming off of that one, but let's see, it's way back here, and then there's just a little finger popping up on top. I'll bring this camera down lower. Actually, let me rearrange my workspace because we've settled on the information, which means I can put this book away for now until next time, until next month. So let me actually put it away on my bookshelf and everything. If I put it away now, that's less cleanup later. And that's something that's really helped me with live streaming. Stopping worrying so much about, should I do this on stream? Should I wait until after stream? Just do it. Just do it now. Don't worry so much. Okay. And the other, I'm holding this in my hand. In my non-drawing hand because it's easier to see it a little closer. I love how they brace themselves. See how this leg is. In fact, it actually sticks up a little bit more. They have this way of sitting that feels like they're really sturdy. And here's at least on this hand, what I can see, only 3 fingers. And they have this little crook in them, like, goes up like that. I'm seeing this in multiple different fingers. Okay. So what about the face? This beautiful, beautiful face is so gorgeous. The eye sticks up on this side. And then this one is just huge. And they have the amazing sideways slit pupil. So awesome. And this eye just looks like actual gold. It looks like gold flakes. Like when you put gold, what is it called? Let me think for a minute. Gold leaf. It looks like gold leaf. Incredible. There's so many beautiful animals in this world, and I'm always learning about more. I was amazed, so amazed. Okay, what else have we got here? I wonder if this will be easier. It's a little tough to look at this image carousel here. I'm going to try just opening these all in their own tabs. Open in tab. Open in tab. There's 5 of them here. Open in tab. There. And it's herpedia.com is this resource. It seems to have a whole bunch of different don't know if it's just reptiles or what, but it has lots of information on it. And very well organized, really nice with the photos for all the different animals. Okay, I think I've got everything. I mean, we do have these spots, but I think I can wait to depict the spots. But this is showing how long the tail is. It's longer than the rest of the body. So to say the tail starts right here. And that description that I read before said the tail was something like 60%. So that makes sense here. So what's the other one? They have a truly elegant way of moving, even though these are photos, so you're not actually seeing the movement, but the way they carry themselves over the ground. Even when it's caught and it's a still photo, it's just very, very beautiful. So this fellow is more yellow. Maybe like a hint of orange. And has a more robust body, so maybe this one is a little older, bigger. We're seeing the eyes from above in this case. Oh, it's just about break time. Just realized that. The head should actually come out and be a little wider. Just a bit though, just a bit. And the arms start right about here. You can see this one pushing back with this arm. So I still can't tell how many toes on the front feet in general, because this one is pushing back, so we can only really see one toe. It's sort of the indication that there's at least one more. And then this arm is hidden by the body. So this front arm. Back arm. Oh, I think I drew those a little bit too far back. But that's okay. That's what sketches are about, figuring this kind of thing out. So here's back leg. Can't see too many of these feet either because it's also pushing. There's lots of debris on the ground here, little seeds and pine spikes and everything, so the toes are hidden. Same with the foot over here. It just sort of disappears into a pile of forest debris. Something like that. Maybe if I just make the tail longer. Whee! There, make the tail a little longer. That looks pretty good. Well, let's stop there because there's less than a minute until break time. So perfect time to stop. Got 2 of these beautiful salamanders sketched. I think I'll try to sketch the other 3 and then we can just move on to some compositions, trying to decide what'll be best for our epic dragon cannonball. I feel like this has got to be a pretty unique idea. I'm really excited about it. So let's take a break, rest our bodies, give our eyes a break, get any refreshment we need. I encourage everyone else to take a break if you can. I'm going to put my be right back sign on and be back in about 5 minutes. Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you had a great break. I certainly did. I had some of my tasty juice shake, which has all kinds of delicious nom-noms and nutritions in it. I looked outside for a while so that I could look at something far away and give my eye muscles a break. And stretched a little bit, so I am ready to get back to work on this. Let's see what the next picture is. Ah, this is little orange fellow. Can't see the whole body on this one. Hi. I love seeing those little rangers sliding in. If I run out of gift and reward chibis to make, I think that'll probably be the next thing I do. No, the next thing I'll do will be another subscriber badge because a new badge slot opened up. And then after that will be another ranger. Okay, so I'm just going to sketch on this side of my sketchbook next, because why not? There's some marker coming through from the other side, but it's good enough just to sketch and try to get an idea of the motion of these animals. And they seem to have what looks like little, they're obviously not teeth, but they have little something hanging down. Almost like those tendrils on an Asian style dragon. Maybe Asian style dragons are based off of salamanders. Anyway, but it's just a little boop. Like a tiny, you can barely tell it's there. But if you look closely, it's not smooth. There's this little tiny triangle that sticks down. The eye. The other totally gorgeous eye. With that dark sideways pupil. And there's a bit of roundness, but then there's also, it goes from front to back, like a line. Okay, and the rest of the body. This one is pretty noodle-like, its body. I think it might be in water, or is it just that light? No, I think it's just that light that it's walking on top of this tree. Or moss or something, whatever this plant is. Here we can see how the leg comes out of the side of the body. The body sort of pulls out toward the leg here. Noodles. It's very noodly. It's a very noodly animal. Again, I can't be sure, but it really does look like they do only have 3 front fingers. Because in this case, that's all I'm seeing. And here's an interesting, different thing we haven't drawn. This arm is like this, a little triangle shape. The offside arm. From the back, a back leg coming out. Slightly bigger than the front leg. And like the knees right here, and then it widens as it comes down to the foot. Oops, I'm not drawing on screen very well. It's because I'm at the very bottom of my sketchbook. And here, some of the toes are covered by greenery, but there's definitely more than 3. We saw on that other one, that other salamander had 5. And it feels like under the greenery there's probably another one right about there. And then the back leg, all we can see, the back leg, all we can see is the thigh sticking up like that. And then the photo ends right about there. So we can imagine the tail just coming out. Okay, there's 2 more photos. This one is an interesting angle going off into the distance. kind of angles up higher than that. The head is lifted up. And we can't see the end of the tail. It goes out of the frame. Even in this much smaller picture, you can still see how shiny and golden their eyes are. Metallic. And their eyes bulge out of their heads like it just sort of stuck on there. They're not sucked into the head like with a human or a dog or whoever. Okay, a little tiny front leg. So delicate. I mean, these might actually be to scale, you know? Because they're only supposedly, it's like maybe as big as this. Let's see. Yeah, they're only about as long as this sketchbook page is wide. So this is probably too big. This one down here. So this might actually be to scale for how big they are. Gotta zoom in on the picture. Oh yeah, this one is clear. There's only 3 front fingers. Like a Ninja Turtle. So salamanders are like Ninja Turtles. Okay, got this front arm. And you can't really see the rest of the front arm for the other side, but you can see the hand coming out here. And the fingers are actually just sticking up off this rock here. They're not pressing down into the ground. So that's not a tongue, that's the hand. Okay. The picture starts to have some depth of field here, so I can't actually see the details. But the back legs are about right here, and I'll just guess at the details as I draw it based on my previous experience drawing these. Can see at least 4 fingers. Well, that's what it reminds me of compared to a Ninja Turtle. That's what it reminds me of. That just has 3 fingers. I mean, look at them. They could be holding. It could be like Raph holding a sigh. It fits perfectly right there. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm seeing at least 4 here. There are probably more. It's super blurry. Oh, that hand is too big, but whatever. It's okay. And then this foot, I cannot even see what's going on because it's so blurry. Just do a really generic scritchy scratch there. Scritchy scritch. Alright. 4 of these fellows drawn. Let's look at this last photo from this site. Wait, what? Did I do this one already? No. Okay. I've just looked at it so many times, I was like, wait, did I draw this picture already? That didn't. I did not yet. So this one's interesting. I think it's partially perspective because I think it's coming up toward the camera, but it makes the head look way bigger than the rest of the body as far as how wide it is. It has a very round nose too. Oh, I might have drawn it so big that I can't fit the rest of the tail in, but just do what I can. I love this slithery S shape that it's making. Yeah. Yep. I'm even thinking about looking and see what Wikipedia's got. They've often got public domain photos, but this might be enough. Might be enough to get the idea for drawing a dragon that's doing a cannonball. I just realized my tertiary camera is not really doing anything useful, so let me point this at my sketchbook. There. So I've got this body. So by doing these, I'm getting the idea of how they have this sort of slinky way of moving. The way their arms support themselves, how many fingers they have, how many digits on each arm. The fact that the front arms are thinner than the back legs. This one's front foot is buried in mud on this side, so I can't see any more of that. This foot is also sinking into the mud, but I can see a few of the toes. So we'll draw those. Didn't mean to rhyme just then. I tend to rhyme a lot, I've been noticing recently. Or else it just keeps happening. It keeps happening a lot. This foot is angled in a very interesting way, pushing off of some rock or other piece of small debris, so that it's almost flat with the leg instead of angled like this. It's flat. This knee is at a bit more of an angle though. There, how about that? And the tail just carries on and on and on, way off of the page. Not enough room. We didn't do the face though. This is an interesting straight down view. So we've got the two eyes. And then the eyelids angle. They're not the same angle with the sides of the face. They have this little, I don't know what we would call this, 45-degree angle from the side of the face. And even here you can sort of see that slit pupil. And then the nosy, there's just a little tiny spots where the nostrils are. Or something. They don't have lungs, they have nostrils. It looks like they do. Let me look closely at the other ones. Or maybe it's not nostril, maybe it's just the spots because they're all spotted. Yeah, I think that might just be a coincidence on that one. The spots continue on to the face. Yeah. So it's not actually nostrils. Not nostrils. Spots like rest of body. Putting that note there for me. Because on this one, I'll show you, or I'll try. It's quite pixelated to begin with, and so my camera might have a struggle, but look how that spot is perfectly placed to look like a nostril. But I looked at all the other photos, and some of them also have perfectly placed coincidental spots that look like nostrils, and then others don't have any spots there at all. So I'm glad I noticed that. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what's going on. Instead of a mustache, it's a appearance of a nostril. Well, that seems pretty good. Let's look up Lake Ontario. Actually, I'm going to do this on my PC so that I can see a bigger picture and not have to hold my phone the whole time to look at it. So I just need to get out the keyboard. Well, cameras in the way. Little cameras in the way. Pet hairs on the keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to open my mouse would appear. Okay, open a new tab. Send to new window. And then move that window so that I'm not blocking Twitch, because I like to be able to see Twitch, for one, for the chat, and for two, to make sure that what's coming out of my PC looks good on the other end. So now I can search Lake Ontario. Oh wait, I also wanted to see, maybe there's a photo in my lovely Pexels website, which is the free stock photos site that I love. See if there's one on here. I mean, it might be so big a lake that we don't even need to depict anything other than a generic body of water, but let's have a look. So a lot of these are showing a city. Probably the city of Ontario. They seem to have a sky needle type thing. Here's one with some interesting rocks. Where is this? Canada. This says it was in Canada, and rocks on body of water under blue sky. But it doesn't necessarily, or it doesn't say that it's necessarily Lake Ontario. Just I'll keep looking. This one just generic body of water. This is Toronto. This is cool. Ah, photo of rocks and island near Lake Ontario. I like the idea of depicting the rocks because there are two characters in this illustration. One, the dragon Gaasyendietha. Two, our Maginaturalist who is drawing the scene. So she needs somewhere to be. She has to be in a place where she could see this and draw it. So this scene seems really nice because it's kind of doing that. There's plenty of space for us to add a cannonballing dragon, and then the photographer of this image feels present because of the rocks that we're seeing in the front. Let me see if I can share this photo. Just share the link, maybe. Share. Yay! Copy. Now to see if I can put it in the chat. think I'm going to use this. So I'll do free download and save my file to my desktop. And then go over to my desktop and double click that. I know you can't actually see all these things that I'm doing. There. Okay, now I have a scene to try sketching. The photo is portrait. I've been imagining this landscape, but we can try both. Let me get another sip of my juice shake first. Shake it up in my shaker bottle. Alright, I don't need my keyboard anymore. Whoop, put that away. I'll lift this up a bit so that it's not so far in. Not zoomed so far in. I'm trying to figure out what to do with this camera. There's always something casting a shadow. Okay, that's good. I'm using this size 3. It's sad, this whole pack was brand new, but this 03 is not very lively of a pen. But the 05 is so huge, it's like too big, and I don't have a pen that actually is sitting in the middle of the 0.1 and the 0.5 that's in this pack, because this 0.3 is not as juicy as I feel it should be. That's okay though. Let's start by just doing a rough sketch of what I'm seeing here. So there's a spit of land coming out, and then it curves toward the viewer like a beach. Sandy beach, but then there's also a rocky and it seems forested bit as well. And then we've got these rocks that are way closer. I don't know, huge granite or something. Big, giant, tough looking rocks. Angular boulders. With lots of flat edges, good for walking, or flat edges, flat sides, good for walking or sitting on. That's where I can imagine the Maginaturalist taking the time to do a sketch of what she's seeing. And there's this bit of water. This is the side of the image here. There's this bit of water being captured in between. I need my markers. So I'm seeing some really, really dark spaces, like in between these big boulders. Practically black. And this is great. Have areas of huge contrast like this for a black and white image. Just makes it look so much cooler. So basically wherever these boulders meet, there's these really dark areas. And then this tree-topped rocky area, you can see through to rocky or sandy dirt spaces, but wherever the trees are, it's almost as dark as these rocks right next to us. See the spiky ridge too. The trees are standing in front of the sky. And then we've got the reflection in the water too. Not as dark, but probably the next darkest element in this scene. I'm not sure if it's moss or lichen or just the texture of the rocks themselves, but there's also a interesting spotty texture on the rocks too, and so that's another source of contrast that we can use to make the scene more interesting. And then all this above is sky. So I've basically drawn it the way it is in that reference photo that I chose. And if I were to add our cannonballing dragon to this scene, I want to think about what would be nice. I kind of want to get it. I'm going to do it. Getting a tracing paper, just like I did for the bees last week. I feel like I don't use tracing paper as often, but sometimes it just comes into my head like, I really need tracing paper for this. So it's interesting for it to happen 2 weeks in a row when it feels like I can go years without using it. Okay. The sheet's pretty big, but that means I'll have lots of space to try different things if I want to. So let's first draw, and this is cool too because then we could move the dragon around the scene as well. So we can try different sizes. Let's try drawing it just by itself to start, I think. I think that would be a good idea. And then we could place it on the scene. So we've got those salamanders as an idea. And my idea was that our dragon would be curled up, cannonball style, but the tail would still be lashing around. So I don't know if they would curl up into a sort of curly Q, you know, like two curls because of how long their body is. And so the arms would be all tucked in. And maybe wouldn't even see the legs, but in order to curl up into a cannonball shape with such a long body, I feel like we'd have to do it like this with two, kind of like a pretzel, little pretzel shape, little pretzel cannonball. And then the tail is streaking gloriously through the sky. the tail of the meteor is actually the dragon's tail. And it said this creature is enormous. That was the specific word that was used. And it's great because in this reference photo, it looks like there are people on the far shore. And it seems like they're only about that tall. I don't know what that is. Half a centimeter? It's great that I have, yeah, about half a centimeter, give or take. So, if this is how big a human is, yeah, I think this is a pretty good size. If this dragon, even with perspective, even if, say, this dragon is bigger because it's closer to the viewer by being here, or something, still think that's a pretty big size if this is the size of a human on the far side here of this lake. So my first iteration of the dragon, I'm thinking about whether it should be light or dark, and actually I think it should probably be dark because it specifically mentioned, I'm going to flip back to my notes, but well, I just wrote in sky, but I feel like it actually said night sky. And in my head, I decided to just write sky to get it written down faster because night sky, duh. It's hard to see a meteor in the daytime. Not saying you can't, but it's a lot easier to see at night. And so if it is night, we need the whole sky to be dark. So I'm going to fill it in. Really sketchy and loose because it's just to help me think of how to put this together. Okay, so we've got our night scene. So that means the water will be dark except for, I gotta change this whole scene. It's not at night what I'm looking at. So the water will be dark except for the little reflections on the water, but it will be reflecting the sky. The rocks will probably actually be lighter because they'll be reflecting, say, moonlight or something. So we got this really dark scene. The reason why I started thinking about that is what brightness should the dragon be? And I think it should be flaming bright. Already mentioned that it was a fire-breathing dragon. We figured out that these salamanders breathe through mucus and their mouths and their skin. So if they're breathing through their skin, Sarah had the great idea that that's why they're on fire. The whole body is on fire the way a meteor looks. So this whole dragon can either be bright or we could have a bright outline. You know, a bright flaming outline. And the dragon could still be dark or be a medium value. So we could have the darkest values be in the environment, the dark sky and the reflection on the water and those shadows between the rocks, the trees on the far distance. And then we could have the dragon be a mid value, medium value, and then the fire coming off could be just plain white, just leaving the white of the paper, because this whole piece is going to be finished just with black ink on white paper. So I am adding cool flames branching off. I think this is going to be epic. This is going to be so cool. I want to have the salamander's eyes closed. You know, for the most part, people when they do a cannonball close their eyes. But I want to have the little happy anime style uppy eye, just to be a little visual language showing that this dragon is not falling to their doom or something like that. This dragon is having the time of their life doing a epic, massive cannonball into the lake. So we did that. And then let's use... no. I'll just use a mid-tone marker. Even though I'm not going to be using marker. Just to see what it's like with this. Actually, rather feels like this might be good without doing any other sketches of this scene. Just look how brilliantly that fits in. Of course, I have not measured, so I don't know if this is the exact format. This seems a lot longer than the 4x6 format that I'm sticking with for this series. Something like this seems nice to me. Maybe cutting a little bit off of the rocks down here at the bottom. The only thing I'm not doing here that we were talking about was depicting the moment of impact. This is just before. We could depict that. It can be very similar to this. So try to draw it again. Something similar. Doing a body and a curly Q. Letting the tail fly free. Might even exaggerate the length of the tail. Just because it looks so nice. Okay, we got those happy eyes. Yay! This is great. What a great time! Cannonball! Okay, so we've got our cannonballing dragon. But if we want to have some water splashing up, we can, you know what, let's look it up. Let's look up what water looks like splashing up. Oh, I'll just look up cannonball picture. I'll put cannonball swim picture because I don't want an actual weapon cannonball. I just want people... it's everybody is above. I want to see what the splash looks like when people land. Oh, I should... Cannonball swim splash. Yes. Maybe I'm going to go back to, just try to. That's not what I was trying to do. How can I move this? You silly thing. I'm trying to move my windows around so I can go back to pixels. Yes. So let's try searching pixels for cannonball splash photo. Or just cannonball splash, I guess. Cannonball splash. Here's one where someone threw a pineapple in the water and took the picture of it. That's funny. There's one someone threw something in a drink. That's kind of the type of splash I'm imagining. So many of the splashes are from top down. I need one from the side. Well, I tried. There wasn't anything in there, so I'll just go back to what I was seeing on my phone. Still wasn't quite what I was looking for, but it at least gives me something to look to if I'm not feeling sure. I'm kind of imagining it looking like how I'm seeing it anyway, so it's alright. Because if the dragon's coming in at an angle, the splash should come out at a matching angle in the opposite direction. We show the splash coming around too. It's not just flat, it's angled to match the circular shape of the object, which is the dragon in this case, entering the water. So something like that. Any indication of what the water around does? Maybe it doesn't really do anything. Well, it seems to maybe swoop up like that. So we've got the water from the impact. And then let's add the flames too. So some of the flames might be getting extinguished as they're closer to the water. But they also might just be getting pushed back. So we can draw these flames even bigger that are farther away. So they're getting extinguished close by, but it's not instant. Flames are probably one of the funnest things to draw because they are so organic. Any flame photo will look different from any other flame photo. They are completely nebulous in their shape. I have some flames flying off. Looks pretty good. Let's add that gray. I think I was using this color. It doesn't really matter that much, but add the gray. Oh, the rest of the body. There. Okay, bringing this over here. I wonder if I can use some white ink. Hold on. Let's see if this would do anything. Filling in, just roughly, but filling in the flames to try to show the contrast that I'm hoping to get at the end. Having the flames be the brightest thing in the scene and acting as a sort of outline for the dragon. Really bring attention to them as the star of the show. Ooh, and we could even have the reflection of the flames on the water. I gotta remember that. Probably the splash will be the next brightest thing too, because the light from the flames will be lighting up the splash. So it'll be so close. So close to the source of the light. Gotta say, this looks pretty cool by itself, even though it's just a really rough sketch. So hopefully that means the final piece is gonna look extra cool. Okay, see if this shows. Oh, it does! That looks awesome. That's epic. So the tail goes way off if I draw it like this, but I could angle it more to be coming straight down from the sky, which I think makes more sense. So the splash would be the same, but the dragon would be angled upways to look more like the angle of a meteor coming down instead of this. Looks more like they just jumped from somewhere over here. So I could also change the way the tail is. I don't know if I will redraw this entire thing like this. I might do if it seems like it's necessary, but let's just see if I try a slightly different angle. Do an angle like this or something. Keep having the tail flopping to the side. I don't know why I feel like doing that. We do the tails more straight. I'll start with the tail. It just feels natural with the way the rest is curving for the tail to have a opposite curve. My pen is not happy with writing on this paper, so let me go to the larger size. If it'll come out please. Thank you. Oh wow, we're almost out of time? What? I didn't even feel the buzz on my wrist. My calendar usually gives me a warning when it's 10 minutes till, but I guess I've been so into this. Really thinking hard about it. Yeah, I guess what I don't want to end up doing is what I ended up doing here, not on purpose, is drawing our dragon with their nose facing down. And I just, when I think of doing a cannonball, And it shouldn't matter because we determined that the salamander that we're basing this dragon off of doesn't have nostrils, so it was okay. But when I think of doing a cannonball nose first, it just gives me like, ugh. I don't want to do that to our dragon. So that's why I keep drawing with the shoulders being the point of impact, because that feels like the strongest to me, the strongest point for the body to be able to receive the massive impact that this surely would deliver. But if I just keep drawing it, so if we take this a little farther, the head doesn't have to end there. So what if we just make the head keep going? Something like this. I swear. I'll allow this. Oh, that's okay. No problem. I am totally used to... Oh, and I just realized my drawing's not even on the screen. Sorry about that, everybody. But no problem whatsoever. I don't ever want anyone to feel obliged to talk to me. I am happy and used to just narrating what I'm doing. It also helps me think sometimes. But if you want to chat, I'm always up for a chat too. I love chatting with people, so... Oh, yeah. Yeah, the butt is another strong point. Somehow I feel on the salamander, the tail might change that a little bit. I don't know why. It feels like maybe it would make the tail a little sensitive. Like, so they don't really have a butt because they just have a big tail. Their back just keeps going. I never thought about this kind of stuff. Ah, the adventures in illustration. Thinking of things you never would. But I think all I need to do is just keep drawing the head. When it feels like the head should be here, and then that doesn't feel right because of the nose facing down. Just keep drawing because it's so long that the body is so long that there's room. I look kind of like a pipe, like an old school style long Middle Earth pipe. So yeah, maybe this kind of idea. We've got the splash, that impact. But having it come straight down. Oops. I've got my camera so far in that you can't see what I'm doing. Put it up higher. There. Okay. So overall, I do think this is better for the angle of the tail. So the angle of the rest of the body I managed to make about the same. Have the tail come straight up instead of curving over to the side or generally having an angle off to the side. This looks a lot more like coming down from space, which is what we want. This dragon is supposed to be like a meteor falling from the sky. So these angles are way too low to be falling from the sky. They have this arc that just leads you, to the other side of the beach instead. But I think this is going to work really well having the white. So leaving the paper white is what we'll end up doing. In the areas around the splash where they're hitting the water and in the flaming areas all over the rest of the body. And then you can't tell as well, but okay, over here is a little bit better. Having our dragon be a medium value. I keep wanting to say a mid-tone, but that's not the correct term. A medium value, the darkest value being the background. So then we've got great contrast and a lot of action and dynamism. And then with this angle, it makes more sense with the idea of the meteor. I think this size might be a little better. I drew this one a little bit smaller. And it fits all right with the scene, but it's kind of hard to see just for our real world viewers of this illustration. So I'll think about that, but we are over time. So I'm going to leave this here. I'll probably just literally leave this here until tomorrow because I'm going to be coming back at the same time as usual to resume working on this illustration. Oh yeah, ladle shaped, yeah. Ooh, and it makes sense. Ladle is great with the water element that we have, so with the water and fire element in here. Okay. Looks like there's actually 4 of us here today, which is wonderful. So let's go see someone. Let's go raid today. I'm going to hop onto my Twitch app on my phone to see who's live. So we've got a couple people. And like usual, when I have more than one person, since I've found so many art streamers now, when I first started rating people, I only had a couple streamers that had been recommended to me. But I've since found lots of others, so I always have lots of options. Since we have 2 options today, let's do as we usually do and go visit whoever has the least amount of viewers, which that is Yasmin Arts. So we'll go see what she's working on. Her title just says working on some art, but the little thumbnail says Lost in the Woods. So that'll be interesting, kind of thematic with our Lake Ontario scene. So I need to switch out a keyboard so that I can start the raid. Put the little camera on this. Dragons. Whee! Oh, I'm gonna cast a shadow on the dragons. Blast it. Alright, that's fine. Okay. I have to do this. I don't have to, but I like to do this from a new Twitch tab so that I can be sure that the raid actually worked. /raid. Yasmin Arts. And is that spelled correctly? Yes, it is. Boom. Okay. The raid has been created. I'm trying to remember that my talking tends to be cut off by the raid. So let me thank you for joining me today and hope that you will join me again tomorrow. But even if not, I would like to wish you a wonderful rest of the day. I'm going to wait a few seconds and then I'll click the raid button. Alright, the raid worked. Hopefully I didn't cut myself off to people watching live on Twitch. If you are still on my channel now or watching the recording later on YouTube, like I said, I'll be back tomorrow for some more illustration. But that's it for me today. Thank you for watching.